What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with a Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon X and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Pokemon that don't learn new moves. So the premise of this video is that I can use any Pokemon I want, any evolution, Mega Evolution, anything, but you cannot learn any new moves. So whatever I caught is going to be their movesets for the rest of the game. So I can't teach them new moves, they can't relearn any moves, and no level up moves and all things like that. So it's going to be really annoying, and it's pretty bad if they only start off with 1 or 2 moves. It's going to be difficult. So the rules of this challenge is going to be a Hardcore Nuzlocke. So I can only catch 1 Pokemon per route. They must be shiny. No other stipulation on the encounters. If they ever faint, they are dead. So I have to box them and release them essentially, and they can't be used again. There's also going to be a level cap, which is going to be the highest level in each gym leader's gym fight. Obviously, we can't go past that until we beat the gym, and of course, you can't use items inside a battle, but you can use hell items on your Pokemon. You just can't use bag items like potions, and also you have to play on set mode to make it even more difficult. And of course, you can't learn any new moves or add new moves at all. So whatever you catch that's the moveset for the rest of the game. So I want to actually test how easy X and Y is by doing this challenge, because I think this might be one of the harder challenges. We're going to try our best at it. So before we get into the video itself, I want to quickly mention that each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after your future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully our pictures. And while it's down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to get started, we're going to get ourselves a starter Pokemon, which is going to be a Fennekin. Now we're going to actually soft reset until we get ourselves a shiny Fennekin. It's going to be a little bit because the cutscene is really annoying, but essentially I think Fennekin might be the best Pokemon for this challenge, because I think there's not a lot of fire types and fire coverage is pretty good, so guaranteeing that is pretty good. And it's where Froakie and Chessman don't have a great move to really start off with. They're also not that quick, so I think this is the best offensive Pokemon I can get at the moment, and it really helps me with the first gym. So we're gonna get ourselves a shiny Fennekin, which is really nice. I always love myself a shiny Fennekin. Now as you can see in its extra move slot, it only comes with 3 moves: Scratch, Growl, and Ember. So I actually added Splash as a move, just so obviously I can't cheat and level up and get another move. So it's a placeholder move. Obviously I'm not going to use Splash in a fight, so substitution move, because I don't have a full move set, so I can't learn any moves from now on. It's going to be really difficult, and it's showing pretty hard. As you can see, I was very close to losing this fight against this trainer as we move out into Route 22 outside the first gym leader's city. Now from here, we're gonna start shiny hunting out here. There's a lot of great Pokemon. We don't mind a Farfetch. We kind of mind a Zumro. But Farfetch, Riolu, and Litleo are things to look out for. And we get ourselves a shiny Riolu, which is really nice. That also means we could actually Mega Evolve it, which, I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. It has counter and quick attack as its really only moves to hit us. So we're gonna have to be very careful as we catch ourselves a Riolu. So quick attack is really the only move it has, but from there we're gonna move out and face off against the first gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Viola. Viola is gonna start the battle off against us using a Surskit. I'm gonna start the battle off against her using my Riolu, first time that I have a second Pokemon against the first gym leader. So I'm able to quick attack into the Surskit and force it to use its potion, waste it up, and then from there the water sport isn't up, so I'm able to switch out into my Fennekin against the Vivillon, and this should be an easy fight as we're able to 3-shot into the Vivillon, actually 2-shot into it, as we're able to beat down Viola and get ourselves the first gym badge. Now that's pretty nice. From there, I could have actually soft reset it for a shiny Kanto starter with Professor Sycamore, which would have been really nice if I got myself a Charizard and Mega Evolve it and got like Tough Claws, which would have been cool, but I guess I wasn't thinking too far ahead with that one. So from there, we actually move out to Route 5 and start shiny hunting out here. There's a lot of great Pokemon out here, which is going to be Volbeat, which, you know, great Pokemon, and I mentioned Volbeat, but Volbeat, Floette, and also Roselia, which are super good encounters. And there's also Ducklet, which is kind of cool. Ducklet's a good encounter in here. We eventually get ourselves a shiny Roselia. I was a little bit hesitating with, because I wasn't too sure if it's going to be good or not, but it comes with Growth, Stun Spore, Poison Sting, and also Mega Drain, so it's actually a decent Pokemon. We're gonna catch it, and since we can't learn any new moves, it doesn't matter if we evolve or Roselia, so we decided to go out and start super training for a shiny stone. Eventually we get ourselves a shiny stone, evolve our Roselia into a Roserade automatically, so we have a fully evolved Pokemon with fully evolved stats, which is really good. We also went into the Fossil Research Center and started soft resetting for a shiny Tyrunt. Now Tyrunt comes with some decent move with Bide, Charm, and also Bite, so it's pretty good moves over there. We eventually get ourselves a shiny blue Tyrunt, which is amazing. So obviously we've been using that a lot recently. We also evolve our Riolu into Lucario. A lot of things are happening before the second gym fight. So we get ourselves a Lucario, and then from there we can move out and face off against Grant next. We're going to face off against Grant, the second gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Lucario. Now Lucario doesn't have any new moves. He's going to obviously just use the same moves, countered into the Amora, and eventually I'm able to knock him down to low HP. Even though it's going to knock me down to low HP, I'm still able to get a quick attack off. And then from there, I can switch out. Actually, it knocks itself out, but I can switch out my Lucario into my Roserade against the Tyrant, and I can Stun Spore into the Tyrant and then Mega Drain it whenever I want, and eventually I two-shot into him, and we end up beating down Grant pretty easily, get ourselves the second gym match in the game, and now we can move out into Route 10. Now out here in Route 10, there's a lot of great Pokemon, Hawlucha, Sigilyph to obviously highlight, and don't sleep on Golett. Golett's a pretty good Pokemon that comes with pretty good moves at the start. So from there we can start shiny hunting, and we eventually ourselves a Sigilyph, which I thought was rarer. So we got a bunch of Sigilyph encounters, and eventually we obviously get ourselves a shiny Sigilyph anyway. So catch it, add it to our team. It comes with Psybeam, which is amazing. It's a pretty strong Psychic move. From there, we were thinking about catching something in Reflection Cave, but I decided against it because my team's getting pretty full, and there's another Pokemon I really want later on. But from there, we're gonna move out. We're gonna beat our rival inside of the tower, which isn't too difficult. Our team is pretty much made for beating down her team because Roserade just counters Frogadier pretty easily. From there, we're gonna move out and face off against the third gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Corinna, which is gonna be the fighting type gym leader. We're gonna start the battle off against her using my Sigilyph, which gets faked out, but I'm able to Psybeam one-shot the Mienfoo and also the Machoke, which is, pretty easy. From there, you can switch out into her Hawlucha. I don't one-shot it, but actually, no, I take it back. I do one-shot the Hawlucha with Psybeam as we're able to beat down Corinna, so that was an easy fight. Moving on, we go out to the tower and face off against Corinna and her Lucario. We don't obviously get our Lucario because we get our Lucario Knight, and we can also Mega Evolve our Lucario with that, which I find out isn't too great later on, but we'll get back to that in a little bit as we soft reset in front of this NPC for a shiny Lapras, which is going to be really nice. It comes with Water Pulse, Parrot Song, Body Slam, and also Rain Dance. A really strong moveset. We can't change anything on it, but honestly, don't really mind. I wish it was 2 levels higher and gets Ice Beam, so that would have been a perfect set. But from there, we're going to move on to this merchant in Cormire City, which I'm able to get a bunch of incense from. I'm able to get a Rose Incense, Sea Incense, a lot of good incense to boost up my moves. Since they're kind of on the weaker side, I can boost them up a little bit. As from there, we're going to move out and face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Ramos. Ramos is going to be the grass type gym leader, and obviously start off with my Breaksin against his Jump Fluff. I'm going to go for an Ember against him, but his acrobatics do a lot of damage. Lucky enough, I'm going to burn down a Jump Fluff and 2-shot into him. I did a really bad play here, and I stayed in against the Go-Go, thinking I could just survive it, and I could. I Embered into the Go-Go, but unfortunately, it's getting Bodos into me, leave me with 1 HP, so really lucky that happened to me. As I go out to my Sigilyph, and Sigiliph's able to go for 2 Psybeams against the Go-Go to knock him out. And 1 Psybeam against the Weaving Bell, but that got very close against the Breaksin. Yeah, I don't know why I decided to risk it, but I end up beating down Ramos anyways. As we get ourselves the 4th gym badge in the game, move out into Route 13, which is going to be the desert area of the game, so we're able to get a bunch of pretty good Pokemon out here. So Trapinch and Gible are pretty much the best Pokemon in the desert, and either one of them would be great. Dugtrio, slightly worse than them, so I don't want to get him, as we get ourselves a shiny Gible at level 27, which I think is the cutoff level too, so I got very lucky with this one. If you get a Gible out here, there is, I think, like a 60% chance that you will get one with Dragon Claw automatically on it. It has Dragon Claw, Sand Tomb, which isn't great, but it is workable, Slash, and Takedown. But Dragon Claw is obviously something we want to look out for as we get. We can catch ourselves a Gible, add it to our team. Lucky enough, it doesn't have Dragon Rage, or my team could be cooked, but lucky enough, we catch the Gible, add it to our team, and my game actually decided to freeze, and my OBS crashed at the same time, so we lost footage. I kept playing, right? I got all the way to the end, the Elite Four, and then I checked OBS, it was frozen, and I had to reset. So I had to actually completely reset my entire save file. So all these Pokemon I have that I caught, at least it showed all my original catching, but all these Pokemon I have on my team are actually the backup save, so I have to remake my entire save file. So everything, their gender is going to be different, but their moveset's going to be the same. I still have the footage on that, so I just changed the moveset. I was too lazy to change the natures, but yeah, I got the movesets ready for everyone. So this is what it looks like at the end. So I'm sorry, but blame OBS. I don't know why I updated OBS if it's gonna crash. Anyways, we can go into the next gym fight in the game. We're gonna face off against Clement. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my Gabite, and Gabite just destroyed Emoga. And from there, he's gonna switch out into his Magneton, which I'm going to go for a Sand Tomb. He ends up critting me with a Mirror Shot, which is really annoying, so I can't stay in against the Heliolisk, which is super annoying. So I go out to my Tyron, and unfortunately Tyron gets cooked up with Thunderbolt, so I can't stay in here as well. So from there, I gotta switch out into my Delphox, which evolved off screen, which I'm sorry about. I go for an Ember against the Heliolisk, and then 2-shot into him, looks like. Yeah, I burn him and then guarantees a 2-shot as we're ready to beat down Clement and get ourselves the 5th gym badge in the game. We also end up evolving my Tyron into a Tyrantrum, which is very huge. From there, we're going to move out, use my Gabite a lot, because Gabite Garchomp line is just my favorite Pokemon in the game. So, you know, it's really fun when I get to use it. From there, we're going to move out into Labyrinth City, which we're going to face off against Viola, which we're going to face off against Valerie next. Valerie is going to be the fairy type gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Delphox against her Mawile, which I go for an Ember, one-shot it pretty easily. Her next Pokemon will be a Sylveon, which I take a Dazzling Gleam and then just start Embering into him. I decided to move out into my Roserade because it can't really hurt me. I go for a bunch of Groves. Eventually, I'm able to go for a Mega Drain and 2-shot him. Well, it gets down to 1 HP, heals up again, and then I go for a Growth, and then eventually 2-shot into the Sylveon. From there, I'm able to 2-shot into the Mr. Mime, and luckily enough, I don't get confused or anything, so I'm able to knock out the Mr. Mime, end up beating down Valerie, and get ourselves the 6th gym badge in the game. From there, I head into the Pokeball Factory, which we clear up pretty easily. From there, we can move out into the snowy area, or the snowy cave. Is that Ice Cavern? Really boring name. Anyways, we're gonna beat down the Team Flare members in here with my Gabite because he's just so good. Eventually, I'm gonna evolve my Gabite into a Garchomp. You know, that's kind of the reason why I want to keep using it. But Garchomp's pretty sick as we face off against our rival outside of Anastar City's gym. We're gonna beat down our rival pretty easily, and then from there we can move out, face off against Anastar City's gym leader herself. We're gonna face off against Olympia. We're gonna start the battle off against Olympia using my Tyrantrum. More so because it's the only Pokemon with a dark move, so Bite is the way to go as we're able to 2-shot into the Sigilyph with Bites. Her next Pokemon will be a Slowking, which I go for a Bite. Doesn't flinch him, which is going to yawn me, so I go out to my Lapras. I get yawned again, so I move back into my Tyrantrum, take a Power Gem, and then Bite to knock him out. As her final Pokemon will be a Meowstic. I was pretty certain I could survive a hit, which I do. I survive a Fake Out into a Psychic, and then from there I made a Bite and knock out the Meowstic in one shot as we're ready to beat down Olympia pretty easily. From there, everything else is just Team Flare stuff, so we're going to move through the Team Flare stuff pretty fast. We're going to face off against the Xerneas, catch the Xerneas in the Master Ball, obviously not added to my team, and then from there we could face, actually Xerneas is a Shiny Lock Pokemon, so we couldn't get a Shiny Xerneas even if we wanted to add it on my team. We're going to face off against Lysander next, the final Team Flare fight. We fought him like 3 times in a row at this point, but we're starting the battle off against him using my Sigilyph to Psybeam into his Mienshao. Pretty easy. His next Pokemon will be a Pyro, which I decided to go out to my Lapras, but I was like, wait a second, I have a better plan. I go out to my Tyrantrum. I take a Fire Blast and a Dark Pulse, not well, but eventually I'm able to set up Stealth Rocks, and then eventually I can move out into my Lapras once again, knock him out with a Water Pulse, which is huge. His next Pokemon will be a Honchkrow, which I go for a Water Pulse again. I outspeed him, which is really important, as I'm able to knock him down with 2 Water Pulses, and I don't survive a Night Slash, so that's good enough. I outspeed him. From there, he's going to switch out to his Mega Gyarados, which I assume is going to go for an Earthquake. He goes for an Outrage, and then I'm like, ooh, that sucks. I go for a Tailwind, take another Outrage pretty easily, go out to my Roserade, which means he hits himself in Confusion, takes a big chunk of his HP, and then from there, I can Mega Drain and one-shot him with a crit, end up being down Lysander without losing a single Pokemon. So from there, I mean, we could make our way into the bridge and face off against our rivals and also our friends. I don't know why I call them my rivals, because they were kind of trash. We end up beating down our friends pretty easily on the bridge. From there, we can move on and face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Wolfric, and we're going to start the battle off against Wolfric using my Delphox. We're going to Ember into his Abomasnow to one-shot it. By the way, we also, before we got into this gym fight, we actually get ourselves the Charcoal, which is the only Charcoal in the entire game. So yeah, we got a Charcoal put on my Delphox, and we one-shot the Abomasnow. We also face off against this Avalok, which we 2-shot with 2 Embers, which is really nice. Actually, no, with 1 Ember in Blaze range. And from there, I could have stayed in against the Cryogonal and probably one-shot it anyways, but I wasn't feeling risky. Went out to my Lapras and Parrot Song into him, and then eventually I'm just gonna knock him out with Body Slam anyways. So I don't know what I was doing this, but I was definitely doing something. So from there, we get ourselves the 8th gym badge in the game, and then from there we can move out. We can get ourselves the Draco Plate, for a Garchomp, so boost Dragon type moves, and then from there we can move out into the Victory Road, which we clear through pretty easily. We don't have too much issues, except for our rival. She's kind of annoying, but we didn't lose the Pokemon just yet, as we're going to move out into the Elite Four next. And our first Elite Four member we're going to face off against is going to be Malva. Malva is the Fire type Elite Four member. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Lapras, and we're going to go for a Water Pose, as Lapras takes a Wild Charge. It actually takes it pretty easily, as Water Pose doesn't kill the Pyro. What? And from there, it's going to heal up, and then a second roll will knock out the Pyro. There we go. The next Pokemon will be a Torkoal, which I just went for a Water Pose, as it goes for a Curse. It survives and goes for a Curse, which is annoying, so I set up a Rain Dance, and from there I'm able to Rain Dance and knock him out with a Water Pose, which is really nice. Her next Pokemon after that will be a Talonflame. I survive a Brave Bird pretty easily. Yeah, it's pretty easy. A Water Pulse will one-shot the Talonflame, and her final Pokemon will be a Chandelier, which I thought I was going to outspeed. I don't. So I take a Shadow Ball, but I take it pretty well because I'm a Lapras. Water Pulse to knock out the Chandelier as we're to beat down Malva. Now moving on, we're going to face off against Wingstrom next. Wingstrom's going to be the Steel type Elite Four member in the game. We're set the battle off against him using my Delphox, obviously. Delphox is going to Ember into the Klefki and one-shot it, as I'm going to go out to my Garchomp against his Probopass. I'm going to go for a Sandtomb, which is kind of embarrassing to use, but I two-shot him. So Sandtomb actually does a lot of damage, so I'm able to two-shot into him using Sandtomb, waste all his full restores, which is kind of funny, and eventually knock out the Probopass, which is really nice for us. From there, his next Pokemon will be an Aegislash, which I stay in, because I know I can survive any move. Sandtomb into him and do a lot of chip damage, as he can get out and also hurt me with an Iron Head. I'm going to stay in and try to land on the Sandtomb. If I do miss though, he could knock me out, which I do miss, and then he goes for an Iron Head. Lucky enough, I survive. And yeah, that could have been really, really bad for me. I can't believe Sandtomb missed on the most crucial moment. I go out to my Delphox and I get hit with a nasty Shadow Claw, which I survived though. Lucky enough, it doesn't have Shadow Sneak. I'm able to Ember into the Aegislash and knock him out, but could have been really bad. From there, he's going to switch out to his Scizor, which can't stay in because Bullet Punch is going to kill me. I go out into my Lapras against him, and then Water Pulse into the Scizor, which lucky enough, I'm able to Water Pulse and survive an X-Scissor. And I go out to my Tyrantrum. Lucky enough, very lucky enough, it has no more full restores because of the Probopass. And from there, I can go for a bite with my Tyrantrum and knock him out. So we end up beating down Wingstrom, just barely beat down Wingstrom. That could have been really bad for us. But from there, we're going to move on and face off against Drasna. We're going to start the battle off against Drasna using my Garchomp with his Draco Plate. And yeah, you kind of tell where this fight ends. So we're going to Dragon Claw, knock out the Draglich. From there, he's going to switch out into Tario, which I go for Dragon Claw to one-shot it. Our next Pokemon will be a Noivern, which I take a Super Fang and then knock him out with a Dragon Claw. From there, her final Pokemon will be a Druddigon, which I one-shot with my Dragon Claw. And we end up beating down Drasna. From there, we're going to move out and face off against Steelberg. Steelberg's going to be the Water type Elite Four member. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Roserade, which I've been keeping in the back specifically for this moment. I go for a Growth on the first turn, go for a second Growth, and then from there, it's going to go for a Dragon Pulse. Again, crits me, which is kind of annoying, so I got to Mega Drain him, and I don't get my full HP back, which is super annoying, but he goes out to Starmie. I go for a Mega Drain. I should have gone for a Stun Spore, honestly, but from there, he's going to go for a full Restore. I could have gone for a Stun Spore again, but eventually, we're going to keep wasting my turns, and then eventually, Light Screen is going to wear off. He's going to go for a Psychic as I go for a Stun Spore this turn, and it missed, and I'm like, of course it want to miss on this turn. Of course it want to miss. And I'm like, I gotta switch out. I switched out to my Lapras at least. Go for a Body Slam and knock out a Starmie. And then from there, I'm gonna switch out into his Barbarical, which I can't stay in. Lapras is too important. So I go out to my Garchomp, take a Stone Edge pretty easily, and then go for a Dragon Claw. 2 Dragon Claws will knock out the Barbarical. As his final Pokemon will be a Gyarados, which I go out to my Lapras to take the Ice Fang. And I'm like, hopefully it goes for like Earthquake or something, and it does. I go for a Body Slam looking for a Paralyze, and I'm like, oh, it didn't get it. So I go out to my Roserade. On the turn, it wants to use Dragon Dance out of every turn, so that means it's gonna go for Ice Fang and knock out my Roserade. I go out into my Tyrantrum next. Tyrantrum is gonna go for Charm as he goes for another Dragon Dance, so he's at neutral now. I go for a Bite, and then he's gonna Earthquake me. I go for a Bite. I don't knock him out, as he's gonna knock out my Tyrantrum. As I go out to my Sigilyph next, and Sigilyph, lucky enough, will survive an Ice Fang, and Psybeam will knock out the Gyarados for us. As unfortunately we lose 2 Pokemon against Steelberg, of course. So annoying to fight. But anyways, from there we're gonna move on into the champion fight. We're gonna face off against Diantha. I'm pretty confident in this fight as well, as I start the battle off against her using my Sigilyph. Sigilyph's gonna go for a Psybeam and knock out her Hawlucha. Her next Pokemon will be a Tyrantrum, which I go for Tailwind because I know this thing is getting hurt. I let my Sigilyph go down. Go out to my Garchomp next, and Garchomp should kill a lot of things. Dragon Claw to knock out a Tyrantrum, as her next Pokemon will be an Aurorus. Got 2 on my Lapras next, which would take any moves from it, except Thunder, so that could be really painful. It goes for Light Screens. I go for Water Pulse, it confused it, and another Water Pulse would knock him down into the range of Confusion. It knocks itself out in Confusion, so that actually works. So we end up beating down the Auroras. Her next Pokemon will be a Goodra, which I'm going to switch out into my Garchomp. And from there, I take a critical Focus Blast, but from there, I go for a Dragon Claw, knock out the Goodra in one shot with, obviously, the Draco Plate. Her next Pokemon after that will be a Gourgeist, which I end up going for 2 Dragon Claws. And then from there, her final Pokemon will be a Mega Gardevoir, which I decided to stay in because I needed the HP on everyone else. Sack my Garchomp and then go out into my Lapras, and Lapras has Parasong, and of course I'm gonna go for Parasong, and in 3 turns this thing shall go down. To pivot in between my Delphox and my Lapras, eventually have enough HP to survive the 3 turns, eventually knocking down the Mega Gardevoir and completing our challenge for today, as we're able to beat down Pokemon X without learning any new moves at all. So that's crazy enough to say. We have pretty good Pokemon, but they just had no new moves. Like, honestly, Garchomp really carried the Dragon Claw, I'm not gonna lie. It was probably the strongest move in my entire team. But yeah, outside of that, everyone did pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of unfortunate that I did lose the first time I did it, but I did it again. And I actually think I did worse the second attempt, even though I had more knowledge. But anyways, that will do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name has been Alpha, and I hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.